What is going on, college basketball fans? Today we're looking at more of your guys' hot takes for this year's college basketball season. If you guys want your college basketball hot take to be in the next video we do, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button and be on the lookout for when I make a community post asking for them, or I also ask for them on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter at Dannyology1, link down below in the description. Yeah guys, let's get right into it. Alright, our first hot take is coming in here from Splash Boys, and he says, Iowa State will end the year as a top 20 team in the country, and I think I'm actually going to agree with this. I think they already have some good wins over Baylor, over North Carolina, and they look like a pretty solid team. I only worry about them in the gauntlet of the Big 12 on the road, but I worry about every Big 12 team when it comes to playing road games in conference. But that also applies to Iowa State when they play at home. They are very good playing at home. They destroyed St. John's at home. They beat Baylor pretty bad at home. I mean, they look really good and they have a good environment there in Ames. So I don't think Iowa State will lose more than one, possibly two home games the rest of the year. So I'm going to have to say Iowa State, if they can catch a few of these Big 12 teams on the road and pick up some W's, then they'll for sure finish top 20 this season. All right, our next hot take's coming in here from Michael Dunn, and he says Providence is going to the Elite 8. Now, Providence has been looking very good recently. Ed Cooley and his pick and pop system there, really good coach, and he's coached up a lot of these transfers because they really rebuilt from last season. I think that they've been better at this point than a lot of people thought that they were going to be. I definitely think that they are a tournament team. I don't quite think they're going to get to the Elite 8. I think it would be a very impressive run if they do that, but I do think that they could pick up a win or two, possibly get to the Sweet 16, but I don't think that they are an elite team this season. All right, our next hot take's coming in here from Jayhawk Fan 33, and he says Michigan will make the tourney, and I think that I'm actually going to agree with this hot take. They just got a big blowout win over Maryland, and a lot of these teams that we thought were going to be pretty good in the Big Ten, like Maryland, like Iowa, even teams like Illinois have been struggling as of late. Michigan State, I think that Michigan could end up passing all of these teams, pick up some really good wins in conference, and if they can pick up maybe one or two upsets in the Big Ten, I think that could go a long way and they could get into the tournament as a lower seed. And we saw last year, even as a lower seed, this Michigan team could make a little bit of a run, so I'm going to agree with this take. All right, our next hot take is coming in here from Aiden Murphy, and he says Brandon Miller will lead Alabama to the Final Four, and I really like this hot take. Brandon Miller, best freshman in the country, in my opinion, for sure. Dude has been balling lately, and I think in the gauntlet of the SEC, because right behind the Big 12, I believe the SEC is the next best conference in the country. I think that he can improve even more throughout the season, and Brandon Miller is the type of freshman I could see help leading his team far and deep into March, and they've already got some good wins on the season. So I really like this hot take. I think that this is the best Alabama team that I've seen in college basketball since I've been watching. So if there's ever a year Bama's going to make that Final Four, I think that this is the year. I really like this hot take. Next up, we got one coming from John Reynolds and another Final Four prediction. He says that New Mexico, the Lobos, will make a run to the Final Four. Now, New Mexico, since Purdue lost last night, New Mexico is the last remaining Division I undefeated team, and they're looking pretty good. They're coached there by Rick Pitino's son, and they're looking pretty solid. I would love to see New Mexico make that Cinderella type run, because even though they are undefeated and they continue to do so, they're still probably only going to get as high as like a 6 seed, probably no higher than that. So it still would be an unbelievable run. I would personally love to see that. But no, I don't think at this point New Mexico is going to make the Final Four. But I'm very excited about this team. I definitely think that they can pull off some W's and get deep into the tournament, though. All right, our next hot take's coming in here from Andrew, and he says Auburn has the best defensive front court in college basketball. And I had to look this up a little bit because I've watched some Auburn basketball, but I wasn't sure how good defensively their front court actually was. And I know about Johnny Broome. He was one of my top transfer portal players this offseason, and I was very excited that Auburn was going to be able to pick him up. And we all know Walker Kessler was a defensive force last year, almost averaging 5 blocks per game. But Johnny Broome, he's doing really good as well, getting steals as well. And along with Jalen Williams, the only competition I could really think of at this point is maybe with Arizona with Turbellis and Ballo. But are they really as good defensively as this Auburn front court? I'm actually going to give this one to Andrew. I think I agree with this hot take. They might be, underratedly so, the best defensive front court in the nation. I do think overall Arizona has the best front court in the nation, but if we're talking purely defense, I think I agree with this take. All right, we got 2 more. Our next one's coming in here from my man Alex, and he says Hunter Dickinson is the best overall center in the Big Ten. And I think we got this take from somebody else in the last Hot Takes video. So a lot of people really recognizing Hunter Dickinson as a super good player, and which he is. I'm still going to say that he is the second best center in the Big Ten. I still got to give it to Zach Edey, but I do think that a lot of people would say that Trace Jackson Davis is better than Hunter Dickinson, but I'm going to say not so fast. I'm going to go with Hunter Dickinson as the second best, ahead of TJD. Give me Zach Edey as the number 1. I do understand that the shooting could come into a factor for Hunter Dickinson, but I still got to give it to Zach Edey as the number 1. All right, our last hot take of the video is coming in here from DK Brody Jr., and he says, this year will feature the most upsets in one single NCAA tournament of all time. Now, I could definitely see this happening, especially with how many upsets we have had in the past few years. There are definitely going to be some shockers, but I don't think we are going to see another 15-2 like we have the past 2 off seasons. I think we've been getting spoiled a little bit with those. I don't think we're going to quite see that. I do think we'll probably see a 14-3 or at least a few 13-4s, but I don't think this is going to be the most of all time. But I do think there are a ton of teams this season. I think that there's a lot of parity in college basketball this season, which is either going to cause for a lot of upsets or a lot of really close games once we get it narrowed down to like the Sweet 16, and I think it's going to make for an amazing tournament either way. That's going to do it for this Hot Takes video. Make sure you guys subscribe if you guys are new, and be on the lookout for when I make a community post asking for them. If you guys want your hot take to be in the next one, turn on those notifications so you guys get the alerts. And yeah, guys, daily college basketball content coming on the channel. You guys already know. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching.